Progress. Hi everyone. This poem is called An Elegy on the Death of a Mad Dog. It was written by Oliver Goldsmith. I will read and explain the poem to you, and as I go along, you will find meanings of words that may be new to you on each slide. Let's begin. Good people, all of every sort, give ear unto my song. And if you find it wondrous short, it cannot hold you long. Good people, all, he says, all good people of every sort, give ear unto my song, meaning he's calling his poem a song and says, please listen to it. Give ear, meaning please listen. And if you find it wondrous short, if you find that it is really short, it cannot hold you long. It's not going to keep you here very long. In Islington, there was a man of whom the world might say that still a godly race he ran whenever he went to pray. This is a town in England we're talking about, Islington. There was a man who lived there, and the poet says that we could call him a very religious person, a saintly person, a holy person. He belonged to a godly race, godly, religious, because he went to pray very often, he went to church very often. A kind and gentle heart he had. He was a kind man, a gentle man, to comfort friends and foes. He not only comforted friends, but foes as well. Foes means enemies. So he was kind to his friends, but he was also kind to his enemies, which is such a great thing. The naked every day he clad. He dressed the naked, he dressed people who had no clothes when he put on his clothes. So over here, I think the poet is trying to bring in a bit of satire. He's trying to be funny. He is implying over here that the man is a godly person, he's a saintly person. But then he is putting on his own clothes. So, how could he be clothing someone else? How could he be putting clothes on for someone else? All he cares about is himself. He's putting on his own clothes. So here's the satire. And in that town, in Islington, a dog was found, as many dogs there be. Every town has a lot of dogs, both mongrel, that is a street dog. We all have street dogs around us, puppy, whelp, and hound. Whelp, a puppy, hound, a huge dog that people normally used for hunting. And curs of low degree. Curs, again, are street dogs that are untidy, not looked after, aggressive. So, in that town, in Islington, there was a dog, just like there usually are many dogs in towns. This dog, the dog we are talking about in the poem, the dog and man, this dog and man, at first were friends. But then a pique began. An argument started, just like we could have an argument with a friend. We could be friends with someone and then suddenly start an argument. So the dog and man, in a similar way, were friends but then started an argument. The dog, to gain some private ends, went mad and bit the man. Now, something like this is not possible because dogs are not like humans. They do not ever want to gain some private ends. Do you think a dog has a mind like that? That he would think about how to gain something by doing something to someone? No. Dogs are very innocent creatures. So, here again, the poet is trying to talk about the human race. He says, just like you and I could be friends and then have a fight with someone, start a peak, and then, you know, people When they have a fight with someone, they try to gain their own private ends, they try to gain something personal, and they do something to gain something personal from that situation. In the same way, the dog, to gain some private ends, to gain something personal, went mad and bit the man. He bit the man. He did something really bad. Around from all the neighboring streets, the wondering neighbors ran. The people just could not believe what happened because this was a godly person. He was saintly, he was holy, he prayed religiously. And this mad dog bit him. How could that possibly happen? They swore the dog had lost his wits, his ability to think and understand, to bite so good a man, such a good man. How can the mad dog even bite someone like that? The dog had surely lost his wits. The wound, it seemed both sore and sad. They examined the wound that the man had, and they saw that the wound was really bad. It was sore, sad. Now, a wound cannot really be sad, but you can call it sad because it was a bad one. It seemed like that to every Christian eye. Why? Because all those people believed that this was a very nice man. And while they swore the dog was mad, they swore the man would die. So, like all of us, when we see something, we always have an opinion. We think that this might happen or that might happen. We have a strong opinion. And of course, it is supported by science because you know very well, like I do, that if a dog has rabies and he bites someone, then that man could get rabies if he does not get treated. And in those days, when the poem was written, it is very obvious that they did not have the kind of treatment that we have now. So the people had an opinion and they thought the dog was mad, the dog had rabies. And if that was so, then the man would surely die without treatment. He would get rabies too. But soon a wonder came to light. Something very surprising happened that showed the rogues they lied. Now, these people with an opinion, the poet is calling them bad people. They are rogues because they lied. Their opinion was wrong. The man recovered from the bite. The dog it was that died. Shocking, isn't it? The man who was supposed to die because the dog had bitten him and he had such a terrible wound actually did not die. He recovered. And mind you, without the treatment that we would get these days. And what happened? The dog died. Well, this actually implies that the poet is trying to tell us that the man was so toxic, even though he belonged to a godly race. He was so toxic that he poisoned and killed that poor dog. Just imagine that. So, what we learn from this poem is that outward appearances may be deceptive. Be careful. Don't take anything at face value. Go deeper, dig deeper, and only then you will know the truth. All right. So, I can go through the poem one more time so that you know the flow of the words. And if you want to use the poem for an elocution, then you would have to know how to say it from beginning without stopping. So here goes. An Elegy on the Death of a Mad Dog by Oliver Goldsmith. Remember that OF is pronounced like OV, of. OFF is pronounced as OF, of. But OF is pronounced as OV, of. So, An Elegy on the Death of a Mad Dog by Oliver Goldsmith. Good people, all of every sort, give ear unto my song, and if you find it wondrous short, it cannot hold you long. In Islington, there was a man of whom the world might say that still a godly race he ran whene'er he went to pray. A kind and gentle heart he had to comfort friends and foes. The naked every day he clad when he put on his clothes. And in that town a dog was found, as many dogs there be, both mongrel, puppy, whelp, and hound, and curs of low degree. This dog and man at first were friends, but then a pique began. The dog, to gain some private ends, went mad and bit the man. Around from all the neighboring streets, the wondering neighbors ran and swore the dog had lost his wits to bite so good a man. The wound, it seemed both sore and sad to every Christian eye. And while they swore the dog was mad, they swore the man would die. But soon a wonder came to light that showed the rogues they lied. The man recovered from the bite. The dog it was that died. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll meet again soon. Until then, cheerio.